Hello everyone, I am Arpit. Today I, Jas and Vinith will show you the demonstration of Honeypot. So now first start with the overview of Honeypot. Honeypot is a computer system on the internet that is set up intentionally to attract and trap the attackers. It appears to be a legitimate part of the site, but it is actually isolated, monitored and capable of blocking or analyzing the attackers. It helps to detect, deflect and study hacking attempts. Now let's talk about how Honeypot works. Honeypot use hardened operating system OSES, and they are configured in a way that it offers attackers to exploitable vulnerabilities. Now they are placed in a demilitarized zone DMZ on the network, and it appears as a part of a network, but it is hard to find. It helps organizations to examine the recent trends in cyber attacks and gaining attack related information such as IP address of the attacker. Moving further to types of honeypots. Honeypots are classified into three categories. The first one is low interaction. Low interaction honeypots allow partial interaction with system since they run limited emulated service with restricted functionality. The second one is medium interaction. Medium interaction honeypots fall between high and low interaction honeypots. And the third one is high interaction. These honeypots imitate real world system and application with actual service and operating system, and it involving high level of interactivity, and it gives extensive details about how an attack progresses and how payloads execute in a network. Now Vinith will continue with Kipo honeypot.
Hello, I'm Vinith. I'm going to start with Kippo honeypot. So, what is Kippo honeypot? Kippo honeypot is an SSH honeypot which is used to study the behavior of attackers. So, once the attackers gains access to a system through an SSH server, all the details of the attacker will be recorded. It is a medium interface SSH honeypot. Kippo honeypot is used to log brute force attacks and the entire shell interaction performance by an attacker. Kippo is a fake file system that allows users to add or remove files. In this way, the brute force hackers will believe they are getting into the correct system and begin to interact with it. Kippo consists of Kippograph, which shows the attack in a graphical format. In the given slide, we can see the Kippo graph where it shows the top 10 passwords which are attempted by an hacker, in which we can see password 123456 was attempted the most. Next slide, which is about countermeasures. The first and important countermeasure is by using strong passwords. Brute force attacks totally depend on weak passwords, so it is suggested to use strong passwords like avoiding reusing passwords or even using longer passwords. Second is limiting login attempts. As brute force attack mainly depends on trying multiple passwords, so by limiting login attempts, the hacker will not be capable of strive a long range of passwords. Third is two-factor authentication. This method adds an additional security layer to your login. So after proper login with your credentials, you also need to enter another code that can be accessed only by you through mail or any authentication tool. Fourth is using CAPTCHA. By using tools like reCAPTCHA, it prevents automated tools from doing actions on the website, and it requires to complete simple tasks to login, which is very easy for users and that can be difficult for brute force.
Hello everyone, now I will talk about Pentbox Honeypot. Pentbox is a penetration testing tool that contains a web-based honeypot as a feature. It is programmed in Ruby and is oriented to GNU Linux systems. It contains cryptography tools, network tools, geolocation IP, and license and contact details. Now let's look at some countermeasures that we should take against the attack. First is update and patch web servers regularly. Patching and updating the servers can reduce the possibility of malware and virus attacks. Other than this, avoid using default configurations. It is recommended not to use the default configurations in a web server as it is more obvious for the attacker to know the default configuration of any server on the web. Make use of updated IDS and firewalls. Using the upgraded IDS and the accurate firewall can also help to protect the server from the attack. Other than this, make use of web tokens in API services. It is recommended to use the web tokens while sending and receiving any data on the web using the API service. Okay, so now let's look at the project demo.
Hello guys, I am Arpit and today we will show you the full demonstration of the honeypot and you will get to see how it works in practice. For this we are going to use two machines. The first one is the attacker machine which is Kali Linux, and the second one is the victim machine where we are going to deploy the honeypot. Now let's see the IP address of both the machine. First, let's check for the Kali Linux, and for that I am going to run the following command, which is ifconfig. So as you can see, our IP address for the attacker machine is 192.168.3527. Now let's check for the victim machine. Here the IP address of our victim machine is 192.168.3516. Moving further, now let's see the file structure of the Kipo honeypot in the HoneyDrive Ubuntu. For that I will go to the directory where we can find the Kipo setup. Now to see the files and directories located on this path, here I will tell you about the few important files and folders. Let's talk about the configuration file. Here, as you can see, there is a Kipo configuration file named kipo.cfg. It is considered to be the basic configuration file in this Kipo honeypot. Whatever changes we make to that file will be affected to the honeypot directly. Now let's see the first few lines of this file to check on which port it is going to start the SSH honeypot. For that I will run this command. As you can see in this line, the SSH port is set to the port number 1234. So basically our honeypot will be running on this particular port. Now we will see the log files in the log directory. So our all the logs of the Kipo honeypot will be saved in this file, and we are able to access it whenever we want to check it. Other than this, there are two shell scripts in the main directory. One is start.sh and the other one is stop.sh. As per the name suggests, start.sh is basically for starting the honeypot server on the desired port that we mentioned in the configuration file, and the other shell script is the stop.sh file, which is used to manually stop down the Kipo honeypot. Now let's run start.sh now. Now Kipo is up and ready to be used. Firstly, let's check this from the attacker's machine that if the victim machine now visible to other systems. For that I will go to the Kali and run the nmap to scan the network. As it is visible here, there are two ports open on the target machine. The first one is port number 80, and that is for HTTP, and the second port is 1234, and that is for SSH. As we are going to show you the SSH attack, let's do the target on the port number 1234 on HoneyDrive machine. Here we are going to do the brute force attack. So to get the correct username and password, we need to have a lot of password combination for each username. For that we already have the list of passwords saved in the text file with name roq.txt on Kali machine. So now let's see this file. For this we will run the following command. Just like these words, there are a lot of other words which will be used to brute force to do login using different passwords. Now using this, let's try to attack the victim machine. For that we are going to use the following command, made USA. Here the flag -h is used for the host machine IP address, which is 192.168.3516 in our case. Similarly, the flag -u is used to mention the username that we are going to use. And then -p is for the path of the file where the password are saved. -n is for the port number, and lastly -m is for the module. Made USA comes with many other modules than SSH, but here we are going to use the SSH module for the brute force attack. Now let's run it. As you can see, the attack was made, and in the second attempt the password was found to be successful. So the password for the root username is 123456 as shown in the terminal window. Now we will run the same command with the username HoneyDrive this time. So let's run it and see what happens. Okay, so the password of HoneyDrive username is stronger than root, so it will take longer to match one. But here we got the password for the root username, and that is 123456. So we will try to attack the SSH using this username and password this time. Now just will show you the further demo.
Hello everyone, I'm Josh. So as Arpit presented, we get to know the password of the root username on the victim computer using the brute force method. Now we will make use of this password to sneak into the HoneyDrive machine. For that, we just have to enter a command to request access to the SSH on target machine. The command for that will go like this. Now, we will enter the password for the username root that we already know. It's 123456. So I'm entering the password now. See, now we got the access to SSH of the target machine. For now, we will just do cat sum file to check. Kippo has a fake file system such that whatever changes we make to these files as an attacker, it would not be affected to the original files in the system. So, as an attacker, we will not be able to add or remove the original files from the system. For now, let's do cat a file. The file is located in etc passwd. Now, as expected, all these activities that I am doing as an attacker will be recorded by the Kippo honeypot in the logs file, that someone can access it later and do a detailed analysis on about how the attack was performed and all. Let's see the kippo.log file that is located in the log folder. So, as you can see that all the activity logs has been saved in this file by Kippo honeypot. More interesting part of the Kippo honeypot is the graphical representation of the attacker's activity. This graphical representation helps in detailed and accurate analysis of attackers' moves. To watch the graphs, we are supposed to open the web browser and simply enter the URL localhost Kippo graph. So let's do it and go to the Kippo graph section. Generally, Kippo graph comes with the basic setup of the Kippo honeypot. It does not require any separate setups to be done. When we run the start sh shell code, one instance of the Kippo graph will start in the background, which will allow us to open it using the web browser. So, as you can see, this is the home page of Kippo graph. For visiting this page, I have entered the URL localhost Kippo graph. On this page, you will find all the information regarding the different version of the Kippo graph. Currently, we are using 1.2 of it. Now let us look at the graph sections. Here at the top, you will find the overall honeypot activity, in which you can see the total login attempts and total distinct IP addresses that were used to perform an attack. Here it is shown that total 105 login attempts were made and from only one distinct IP address, which is of Kali Linux. Moving further, let us check the graph of top 10 passwords that has been used to do the login on SSH from other system. In our case, we used the rocku.txt file. So here we will see all the words from that particular file. The most used password is 123456, and similarly, all the other passwords that were tried to do login are also shown in this graph. Moreover, you can also download the CSV file to see all the passwords tried to attack your system. Now moving ahead, you can see the usernames that were tried to do login to your system. From the Kali machine, we tried the madusa command with two different usernames that were root and HoneyDrive. So here in the graph, both the username are shown and also which username was used the most times is also depicted. As above, you can also download the CSV file if you want the list of all the usernames that were tried to do the login attempt. Now let's observe the next graph. I consider this to be the most useful graph as it represents the combination of the username and the passwords that were tried by the attacker. Using this graph, it becomes more easy to analyze the technique of the attacker to do the brute force attack. You see the most used username and password combination is the root and 123456. So it is recommended to the user that never use 123456 password as a root username to be safe from the attackers. Similarly, there are other graphs which can be helpful in better analysis of the attack. Let's see the Kippo input section now. Kippo input section on this web page shows all the statistics related to the inputs that were tried by the user after login. Here is the graph that shows 10 successful inputs. This is how the Kippo and Kippo graph plays an important role as an SSH honeypot. Moreover, we are also able to see the attacker's IP address in the Kippo IP section. See, here is the list of IP addresses that tried to intrude into your system. So, this was the demonstration of Kippo honeypot. Hope you enjoyed it. Now, further, we will see another type of honeypot which Vinith will show you. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Vinith and I'm going to show you the working of Pentbox honeypot. Pentbox is a security suite that packs security and stability testing oriented tools for networks and systems. It consists of various tools including the honeypot. This is a web-based honeypot that is activated on port number 80 of the system by default when it is run. Although there comes an option for changing this configuration also, you can modify the working of this web-based honeypot according to your use. I'm going to run this honeypot on the Kali Linux machine. Here let's go to the root directory of Pentbox honeypot. Now let's check file structure of this directory. Here we can see the file name pentbox.rb, which is a Ruby file that can be run in Ruby friendly environment only. We have Ruby pre-installed on the Kali Linux machine, so we would be able to run this file normally. Now to start the honeypot, we will run the file name pentbox.rb. Okay, so this is the main menu of Pentbox tools, which consists of options such as cryptography tools, network tools, web, IP grabber, geolocation IP, mass attack, and others. Out of these options, we are supposed to pick any one of our choices. Right now, we want to run a honeypot on our network, so we would choose the network option that is number 2 in this menu. So let's enter 2 and see what happens. Here we are represented with another menu in which options are related to network tools such as NetDOS Tester, TCP Scanner, Honeypot, Fuzzer, and others. Out of this, we will select the option Honeypot, which is given as number 3 in this menu. So we will simply enter number 3 here. Okay, so this is the final step to start the honeypot. Here we are asked if we want to use the default configuration or we want to customize it according to our needs. We will select the second option to check what modifications can we make to this. The port we want to run our honeypot is 1234, so we'll enter here 1234. Here we are asked to insert the false message to show. This is basically a warning message to show to the attacker whenever he tries to intrude on our system. We can enter any kind of message here. Let's enter this. This for confirmation that if you want to save the logs of all the intrusion that will be recorded by the honeypot in this session or not. If you want to save it, we would select yes, otherwise no. You can choose no in here. So finally the honeypot has been activated on port number 1234 of the system. Now let's send the web request on this IP address on port number 1234 and see if our honeypot is able to detect this intrusion or not. Yes, we successfully caught the intrusion from the attacker into our system. Here we can see all the information regarding the intrusion, including the payload that was tried. Along with this, this activity of the attacker will be saved in the log file, which we can see later and analyze the attack accordingly. So this was the demo of Pentbox honeypot. I hope you enjoyed our presentation. Thank you so much.